Homeless black girl pays a man's bus fare, unaware he's a CEO who will change her life. The city was cold that morning, brutally cold. The kind of cold that pierced through layers and turned fingertips numb. On a weather-worn bench near a downtown bus stop, 17-year-old Aaliyah hugged her thin jacket tighter around her small frame. Her backpack, stuffed with everything she owned, leaned against her leg. She hadn't eaten since the day before, but hunger had become just another feeling she'd learned to ignore. Aaliyah had been on her own since her mother passed away 2 years ago. The foster system had been a revolving door of disappointment and pain, and eventually, she chose the streets over another broken promise. Despite her circumstances, Aaliyah still believed in kindness. She believed the world could be better. Maybe not for her, but for someone. The bus arrived with a mechanical hiss. Aaliyah rose to her feet, brushing off her worn jeans. As she stepped forward, a man in a sharp gray coat fumbled with his wallet. He looked frustrated, patting his pockets as the line of impatient commuters behind him grew. "No luck?" Aaliyah asked softly, stepping up beside him. He glanced at her, mid-40s, salt and pepper hair, tired eyes behind expensive glasses. "Forgot my wallet," he said, embarrassed. Of all mornings. Aaliyah didn't hesitate. She reached into her pocket and pulled out 2 crumpled dollar bills, nearly everything she had left. "Here," she said, handing them to the driver with a small smile. "Cover him too." The man blinked in disbelief. "You don't have to." "It's okay," she interrupted. "Just pay it forward someday." They boarded the bus together, and the man sat beside her, unusually quiet for a few stops. He studied her discreetly, her hollow cheeks, the frayed edges of her sleeves, the quiet dignity in her voice. "I'm Marcus," he finally said. "Aaliyah," she replied, glancing at him with a polite smile. "Do you do that often? Help strangers, I mean." She shrugged. "I try. The world's hard enough." Marcus nodded slowly, the gears in his mind already turning. They spoke for a while. Aaliyah told him about her love for poetry, how she would sneak into the library to read Maya Angelou and Langston Hughes. She talked about her dream of becoming a writer, of inspiring people the way words once saved her. Marcus didn't say much about himself, only that he worked in business and was heading to a meeting. When the bus reached his stop, he stood and hesitated. "Aaliyah, you didn't have to do what you did, but you did it anyway. That matters." She smiled. "It was just a bus fare." He shook his head gently. "No, it was hope." With that, he stepped off the bus and disappeared into the city. 3 days later, Aaliyah sat outside a bakery, scribbling in her notebook with numb fingers. She was hungry, cold, and unsure what tomorrow would bring, but she wrote anyway. Writing gave her warmth that the streets could not. A black SUV pulled up to the curb, and to her surprise, Marcus stepped out. "Aaliyah," he called. "Been looking for you." Her eyes widened. "Why?" He handed her a warm bag of pastries and a coffee. "First things first," he said. "Eat." They sat on a bench as she devoured the food, too grateful to speak. "I wasn't completely honest," Marcus said, watching her. "I'm the CEO of a tech company. I have offices across 3 states. The day you helped me, I was on my way to close a company that employed over 100 people. I thought I'd lost my faith in humanity. But your kindness, that $2, it stopped me." Aaliyah blinked. "You were going to shut it down." "I'd convinced myself the world wasn't worth saving. But you proved me wrong." He reached into his coat pocket and pulled out a manila envelope. "I want to offer you something." Inside was a scholarship letter. To a prestigious creative writing program, complete with housing, a laptop, and a monthly stipend. Aaliyah's hand trembled. "Is this real?" "As real as that bus ride," he said. "But only if you say yes." Tears welled in her eyes. Why would you do this for me? Because sometimes, the smallest act of kindness reveals the biggest truths. You changed my life. I'd like to return the favor. A year later, Aaliyah stood on stage at a youth conference, reading a poem she had written about survival, about struggle, and about the light that sometimes finds us when we least expect it. She wore a fitted blazer, her natural hair in a soft halo around her head. Her voice was steady, proud. In the front row sat Marcus, clapping with misty eyes as the audience erupted in applause. After the event, a girl approached Aaliyah shyly. "Your story, it gave me hope," she said. "I didn't think people like me could make it." Aaliyah smiled. "You can. You will. And when you do, lift someone else up too." That night, Marcus and Aaliyah walked through the city they had once met in. She told him about the book she was working on, a memoir blended with poetry. "You were the turning point," she said. "But not just because of the scholarship. Because you believed in me before I knew how to believe in myself." "No," he replied. "You saw me first. You saw a stranger and chose compassion. I just followed your lead." They paused at the same bus stop where their story had begun. "I still carry this," he said, pulling the crumpled bus fare from his wallet, now laminated. "A reminder that $2 can change everything." They laughed, but the emotion hung in the air like soft rain. Aaliyah would go on to publish her book. She started a foundation for homeless youth, advocating for education and opportunity. She visited shelters, gave speeches, and mentored young girls who reminded her of who she used to be. The streets no longer defined her. Her past became her power, her pain turned to poetry, and her kindness became the legacy that would outlive even her words. And somewhere out there, another girl with nothing in her pocket would read her story, whisper, "Maybe it's possible," and take her first step toward the light. Because sometimes, a warm heart in a cold world is all it takes to spark a miracle. The end.